Hey everyone, it's Bennett, your fantasy football commissioner, with the Week 10 weekly recap for our Forest Land Mishmash Fantasy Football League. Missed last week, so I wanted to quickly go over the game of the week, which does have playoff implications of Week 9, and then we'll get to Week 10. So we had a really interesting game that not only was a tie between two of the top teams in the Mish division, but also it came down literally to like the last 30 seconds of the Monday night game. So um, we had the Stallions with Ezekiel Elliott getting 21 points on Monday night, and with this also having Golden Tate with a big 11 points, which came in really handy at the end to get the tie. I'll get to that in a minute. Meanwhile, you had only 14 points from Saquon Barkley and Evan Ingram, 10 points. So basically, all four of those players were in the game Monday night, and it was back and forth with the Stallions basically threatening to put it away. But as I said to Evan was watching the game with me, and I said, I need a screen pass from Saquon Barkley for like 50 yards. And then like 5 minutes later, he had like a 57-yard screen pass. So that got me actually back into the game. And after a couple, minor scoring points later, the Slim Aussies took a 2-point lead with about 30 seconds to go, 4th and 10. And sure enough, Golden Tate, who had a bunch of catches early but was quiet, got a 12-yard catch to convert the first down and get the final 2 points of the game, which gave the Stallions the tie. So as disappointed as I was with not getting the win, it really sort of was meant to be at a tie because, again, it was back and forth Monday night and not a ton of points scored. So every little point, every 1-yard catch for a receiver, every 10-yard rushing was huge in this game. And the Stallions fell at the time to 5-3-1, and the Aussies fell also to 5-3-1. And it was big because it opened the door for Graceland, who you'll see in a minute has taken over the division lead. So that was Week 9. Week 10, we had First Down Order winning their 4th game in a row. And would you believe it was not Drew Brees and his 11 points, but really Kyler Murray's 30 points that did it. Both teams had really respectable showings with, double digits for all the skill players. The real difference for First Down Order was, sort of the proverbial no-name tight end with 23 points and 24 points from the Steeler defense against, a previously pretty good offense, the Rams. So First Down Order, first place in the MASH division. They go to 7-3. Not a ton of points total for the season, but nonetheless, they have the 7-3 record. Colon Cleansers fall to 4-6. Another close game, if it comes up. Third and Oolong squeaks out the game. 15 points, 147-132 over Ray Finkel, who's been up and down, more down recently. Third and Oolong, who has some of the most points in the league total, so maybe could be a little better, but she'll probably take 6-4. And really the savvy move of the year was to make sure to, when at the last minute Matthew Stafford was out, and I don't think that was announced till Sunday morning, had the wherewithal to, you got to check that lineup. That happens about once a year. Someone previously not on the injury report shows up, and you got to think fast. And sure enough, gets 16 points from Jeff Driscoll. Would have had a big 0 and would have lost the game if it wasn't for that. So good job, Third and Oolong. Always check the inactive list the day of the game, if possible. And just a nice steady game, even with -1 from David Johnson, who I believe got hurt. Got 35 from Henry and only 7 from Gurley. I mean, really, Gurley's fallen off the deep edge. But just enough points. Third and Oolong wins, 147-132. The aforementioned, another close game, semi-close game. Show Me Your TDs, who's really been picking up as of late, still with not a lot of points on the season. They get, I believe, their season high, 172 points. Pretty solid game. Obviously, Daniel Jones with 4 touchdowns. You can't really plan for that. Who's the other quarterback? Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, smart move playing, really ballsy move playing Daniel Jones over Jimmy Garoppolo. And that was the difference because in addition to that, also had the Seahawks defense, who had a touchdown and a bunch of stuff, sacks, I think 6 sacks. So it was fairly close going into Monday night, but Daniel Jones sort of won it along with the Seahawks defense. The Slim Aussies did get 18 points from Chris Carson on Monday night. Obviously not enough, and just not enough points from the sort of lower half. And of course, the bummer of the week was the 40 points from Christian Kirk, who hadn't had a touchdown all year and suddenly gets 3 touchdowns and 1,000,000 yards. And of course, that would have won the game. So that's always a bummer. And of course, I'll have Kirk in this week, and he'll probably have like 50 points, or excuse me, like 5 points. So that's just fantasy for you. There was no really too much of a track record from Kirk before that. So the Slim Aussies fall. And again, that's important because now we have, hopefully it's going to show up for me, Graceland with 192 points, and they spring forward to 6-4 to lead the Mish division. Obviously, Baker and Lamar doing nice work there. Lamar, Christian McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, that, if they stay healthy, that's going to be deadly the rest of the year. To go through the rest of the season with that. Still has Cousins as a backup. He had 20 points. So you got Baker, Lamar, and Cousins to choose from. Obviously, Lamar is going to start every week, but you got pretty good second choice with Cousins and Mayfield. And they get 192 points. And they win the game and vault into the lead. A little bit of a tough luck season for the Travelers. They fall to 4-6. They do get a respectable 158 points, but obviously not enough to get the win. And then really the not only the loss of the week, but the low point total of the week goes to the Stallions, who, obviously with Ertz, Brady, and the Patriots defense on a bye, you could blame that a little bit, but really just no points. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, they won the game. He had 9 points. Hoyer, you'd like to think would have a little bit more, but he is a backup quarterback. Zeke Elliott was 7. Just really a disappointing day. And Golden Tate, who had the catch to get the tie the week before, he's like the leading scorer with 25, but just nothing else to speak of. Again, could blame it a little bit on the bye, but that's important because not only do they get the loss, but they also lose a big chunk of their point total lead and actually fall into third place in the division because of the points. So the Stallions, not only with a tough luck loss, but not a lot of points. The Cartel hanging on, nice, respectable 168 points, with a pretty good steady game all throughout. Amari Cooper, unbelievable Sunday night. Like, how many tiptoe catches did he have on the sideline? So good for him. Cartel still in, playoff contention at 4-6 with a very respectable week. And now we get to the standings where we have, again, Graceland at the top. So not only are they leading with the record, but because they're 4th in points, but really it's really packed at the top. So yes, they're 4th in points, but not far apart from the leaders in points. And of course, the most important thing is the record. Slim Aussies and Stallions are both 5-4-1, but again, with the Stallions' lack of points, the Aussies take the lead point-wise, so they get the tiebreaker. And then, of course, Travelers, with the 3rd most points in the league, but yet they're 4-6, so a tough year for the Travelers. Cartel sort of where they should be, probably, down at the lower end point-wise. Then in the other division, you can see the first down order with the 4th lowest points, but they're 7-3, so can't complain there. Maybe a little bit of luck, but they've also come on strong lately. 3rd in Oolong, who does have the most points at 6-4. Ray Finkel, who's sort of right in the middle, actually in the lower end at 5-5. So as always, there's a couple teams that maybe have a better record than they should and are a little worse. But at the end of the day, you've got, the teams sort of in the upper third are sort of right where they need to be record-wise, maybe with the exception of the Travelers. So anyway, there's 4 weeks left in the regular season, so still a lot of movement. No one, even Show Me Your TDs, is not out of playoff contention, although they have an uphill battle. So that's it for this week. I'll try and be back next week for week 11, and go ahead and get your lineups in for tonight. And only a couple more weeks of buys, so everybody's sort of suffering from bye week hell these last couple weeks, but eventually all the teams will be back, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching as always, and good luck to your teams this weekend.